gives me a deep sense of pride and happiness to be a part of this fraternity. A fraternity that has come a long way from the past of resistance, subjugation, and being the inferior being for a long, long time.
Motorcycling is almost a completely male-dominated
Right.
area.
Lot in kind of grooming our girls, making them do every single thing which is there. But we need to make our boys ready to handle girls in process, right? Like
if a woman makes an error, the same error could be made by a man, but he'll not be judged. It will be put under the carpet, people will forget about it. You do a blunder and that will be remembered.
As we celebrate the International Women's Day, it gives me a deep sense of pride and happiness to be a part of this fraternity. A fraternity that has come a long way from the past of resistance, subjugation, and being the inferior being for a long, long time. Today I have an august panel here. A panel who in their own right have broken the mold, have gone the roads less travelled, and created a niche for themselves in areas which for a long time have been the man's domain. Women who have gone ahead because they felt for a cause, they felt for something, and they realized that if I don't take the plunge now, it might be too late. So it's going to be an interesting discussion here today, and the topic of our discussion is bold is the new beautiful. And I think with all three of you here, it's the right title, because women who are bold and confident in their action, in their thought, and in their demeanor. So thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm very quickly going to introduce you to our panel. We have Mandeep here. Mandeep is a professional biker who learned how to ride a bike at 45. She runs a training school, and apart from that, she paints art on furniture, so basically refurbishing furniture. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. I come to Malika here. Now Malika has a very interesting story. When she moved here and she had her first child, she realized that there was so much chemical out there in the stuff that you use, the cosmetics that you use for children, and that was really harming the kids. And that is where the idea came, and she started this company called Momco, which basically is involved with cosmetics and any kind of products that children and pregnant women require, and it is completely chemical free. So thank you for making our world a much better place. Thank you for having me here. And of course we have Arveen here. Now Arveen is a trained pilot. She is in fact India's youngest woman pilot. Now that's a feat, especially a domain which has for a long time been known as the men's domain. So we're going to come back to you to discuss how you broke the mold. So thank you so much. I'll quickly start, Mandeep, trying to understand how did this whole germ, if I may call, of biking get into you, and how easy or difficult was it?
So, I think it existed for a very long time, and I spent most of my life, so I spent about 2.5, 3 decades in the Middle East.
Right.
And in the Middle East, women are not allowed, at least back then, were not allowed to ride motorcycles. You, as a matter of fact, could not even sit pillion on a motorcycle. So when I moved to India, my biggest agenda was to learn to ride a motorcycle.
Right.
And I learned at the age of 45. By then you're thinking, this dream is never happening for me. And so when I started riding, actually, I approached another buddy of mine, because it's not easy to get someone to train you.
Right.
Nobody wants to give a motorcycle to a chick.
Yeah.
They don't want to train you.
Yeah.
Delhi and Gurgaon roads are dangerous roads to learn on. So then I felt that, okay, maybe I was onto something.
Right.
And that's where the idea of opening the academy started from. And then I did that for about 1.5 years.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm involved with more stuff now. We recently did a all women's ride to Leh last year also, which went fabulously.
Exciting. And coming from that, so basically the whole thing of breaking the barrier, that's so what if I'm 45, I still have a dream and I can achieve that. Malika, how did that whole thing come in? There are a lot of women who talk about, oh, I don't want to use this for my child and it's chemical, but very few take action. Was it easy? Was it difficult?
it was very tough. I think the toughest thing initially to do was kind of convince people and make them understand of what I wanted to do.
Right.
And why it was much needed, right? Like there was so much happening there, and when I kind of realized that my daughter had a skin condition, and I had to ensure that anything that she uses was very safe, was fragrance free, was allergen free. And I just started realizing there was nothing that was meeting the bar. And then I started figuring out how do I create this. Reached out to a lot of manufacturers, toxicologists across the globe to kind of understand how to kind of get it done. And when we decided to get it done, it was very hard to convince the manufacturers to kind of do it. And especially, when you just start beginning to start out, and then who are you? Like I'm an engineer in MBA background, right? So they're like, what are you doing? You have absolutely zero knowledge of cosmetology. So kind of convincing people and getting them on board that this is really what I really want to do was the hardest bit of getting it done.
Do you think, because I'm hearing stories, and I think 18 and a half to become a pilot, finally went to US, you got trained at it. How was it coming back to India?
I think when I started
they take
working,
you seriously?
No. Let's be very honest. I think nobody would. Would you take an 18-year-old working seriously? I don't think I would right now. So why do I expect that? So it was difficult, of course. Initially, when we started working, and I used to fly from the ride, I used to have these really old captains, like 50, 55, 60-year-old, and he would be like, she's just a kid. How the hell is she sitting here? Who gave her the job? They always had that. They wouldn't take you seriously. They wouldn't ask you for work. Like, I'm supposed to be the co-pilot in the flight, and I'm supposed to do a certain work. There's a protocol that I'm supposed to do, and they would just skip me off. Like, it would be like I'm non-existent. I would do like 4 sectors and come back, and what have I worked? What have I really done? The guy sitting on the left was doing everything. He didn't let me do much. So that was always there. But then as years go by, people start taking you seriously. It's also your attitude that you show it to people. You cannot mess with me, and I'm here to work, and I'm gonna do that. So you stick around, and things have changed. Definitely. Now there's so many more women entering. And even my own sister is a pilot. Now in Indigo itself, I think you have the largest population of women in India who are pilots.
But tell me something, and I'm kind of opening up this question. The fact remains that it's always been the so-called man's world. There are going to be roadblocks. Were there any specific roadblocks that you all faced? For example, like you said, your manufacturers weren't ready. Would they come and say, "Yeah, अच्छा ठीक है, mother है, उसको problem है, चले जाएगी वापस से?" Was there really concerned?
So I think their concern was whether you'll be really able to scale it up or not. That was one of their biggest concerns. Then the concern was about how serious you are in kind of trying to do it, right? So for me, getting my first manufacturer was literally me showing up in his office, which was it's literally 3 hours away from my current house, every single day on his door. And this went on for almost about a month and a half till he kind of understood that she's not going. And when he realized I'm not going to go back was when he said, I will take on your project, and then we will see how it goes. And then, once it rolled out in the market, and then he saw, we spent a lot of time to create the product, and the time that we spent together, we kind of developed a mutual respect for each other, and that's where I think the foundation of growing that relationship with the manufacturer started. That's when
they started taking.
That's when they started taking seriously, saying that you've got something in your mind and you have a dream, and then of course, I honestly believe that for doing whatever you have to, and it is tough to do it, perseverance is the most important. You just don't give up. There will be people who will end up kind of getting around their own ways of working and helping you out with that.
But do you think perseverance only holds for women? Or do you think if in her condition or situation, or let's say your situation, I mean, you're a biker, you said you went to Leh Ladakh. I'm sure people would be saying, is it safe? You're not even in a car which is, closed from everywhere. You're just sitting on the sofa.
It's impossible to get enrollment, from friends and family to take on something like this. And, how Leh is, the roads are closed. There's practically no roads. So it is dangerous. And you kind of, you kind of accept that going in. And I think safety is a very big deal also, because you see a lot of women. Well, there are only a handful of us really women bikers, but most of them are not so careful when it comes to safety. Because it doesn't look good, right? But like I go grocery shopping and I'm geared up, so because it's just not worth it, especially in dangerous terrain. But as far as women, as women getting enrollment, So motorcycling is almost a completely male-dominated
Right.
area. There's a handful of women that
Do
are
you think
riding.
that things are changing with you and the other women?
We are. I mean, we are driving it. I'm also, a part of the core team of the Women's International Motorcycling Association. So the idea is to get these women together, create a community,
Right.
and also building the credibility. They don't take us very
That's
seriously.
important because whether it's riding a bike or an
Yeah,
aircraft,
correct. You need to
or
build that
getting
credibility.
those products out. Do you think you have that resistance from men? What about that? Is there a resistance? Let's say today's times, past to now, has there been a change?
I can tell you like a very simple example. So if in flying, for example, if a woman makes an error, the same error could be made by a man, but he'll not be judged. It will be put under the carpet, people will forget about it. You do a blunder, whether it's in the job or in anywhere, and that will be remembered for very, very long, and people will say, "Oh, of course, she's a girl."
So that thing still kind of remains.
Absolutely. I had a passenger come up to me in Srinagar. We were getting really, really delayed, so I went out to use the washroom, and then he asks the cabin crew, "Is she the captain?" And she's like, "Yes." Oh, no wonders we are getting delayed. So this still happens. This still happens. Of course, a lot has changed over the years, but yes, it does still happen.
But tell me something. We're talking of women here. All three of you in your respective careers and lines are these confident women who are there. Okay, come what may. I'm going to have resistance from men, but I'm going to do it. What do you have to say to the women at large? We have this whole population of women in India who have dreams, who want to do things, but there is resistance. How do you think, let's say for example on an International Women's Day, what do you think can happen or should be done for women like them?
I think women need to learn how to reach out to other women more.
Okay.
Everybody, and it's unfair for anyone who's doing a startup to expect that they will know everything about how to get it done, right? Like you do. I'm sure when she started biking, when she learned how to write some aeroplane, it was hard, right? And you needed to understand different facets of it. And on-job training, you need help to understand much more stuff from it.
Yeah.
I don't think if women do enough in reaching out to another woman to asking for help. If you start asking for help, you will start getting the guidance and you keep moving forward, right? Like a man has so many avenues right now when he reaches out to another co-worker to ask for help, saying, I'm stuck here, how do I make it work? But you will barely find a woman reach out to another woman to say, I am stuck here, how do I make it work? Right? So we as a community need to start helping each other a lot more often.
Do you want to add something? Anything else that you think that women can do, in small villages, in small towns, cities, who want to go out and do the
I had an example of a girl from a village who has enough money to even get into flying, and she has really a lot of passion to do flying, but she has a resistance from her family. Her family wouldn't allow it.
What should women do in such a situation?
I also feel helpless in such a situation. What do I say? See, for me, if I'm here, it's also because of my family support, right? So that is also very important. So more than women, I think the whole mental setup of the society really needs to change in letting women just go out there and do what they really want to do. There should be less judgments and less resistance in terms of why should you be doing this? Do the normal girly things, don't do this, don't do that. Let the woman decide.
Let her decide.
I think also now, when you were talking about what can they do differently, I think what really worked for me was the fact that I was very open to really asking. You were so right. I went ahead and I asked and I said, I have an idea, can you help me out? And also to, rally a team around you that really believes the cause, just to rally that
to have that
people
whole
around
thing
you
moving for you.
So
I think that's also a lot to do with the confidence that you had in yourself. A lot of it has to do with that. But going forward, I'm sure you all have you're all mothers and you have kids. How do you think the new generation, because there's this whole fiery new generation of women and men coming forward, anything that you think that all of us need to keep in mind when we're raising this new generation, both men and women? So to ensure that in the future there is nothing like women and men, it's a balance. What do you say?
So when we were growing up, my father always told me one thing, saying that, I'm not going to be there to support you after you grow up. You need to go and make a living for yourself, right? And I was trained and I grew believing that, and that was the reason probably why I could take fear steps in kind of going and doing something which nobody else was doing.
Right.
I trained my girls similarly because that's with what I have grown. But I very strongly believe that we need to start training our boys as well. We need to start training our boys, right? Like we're doing a lot in kind of grooming our girls, making them do every single thing which is there. But we need to make our boys ready to handle girls, right? Like they need to be an equal. I mean, a woman can be an equal at work if the man decides to share the same responsibility at home, right? Which is like really, really important. So I think we need to groom our boys accordingly.
What do you say?
True, yeah, that's so true actually, you know, because we are, I think, training our children, you know, especially our daughters, to be really fierce and follow their dreams and all of that. But I'm always actually also, you know, I'm always telling them to be prudent and have a lot of awareness around them also.
Exactly.
Because, you know, changing mindsets will take a long time, you know, so to be really prudent and
And I think that's an important one, you know. I mean, for our viewers, I think one very important thing that has come in is the fact that for women to move out, for women to go out and do things that till this point of time were only in the men's domain, in the domain of the men, is the fact that mindset has to change. There has to be the comfort of people supporting you in going out and daring to do things, and the fact that men need to also be trained. Our boys, the boys that are growing up to be future generations, need to understand that there is no difference. Women are not closeted to do a certain type of work, but going forward, we are absolutely shoulder to shoulder. Thank you so much. It's been an interesting discussion, and I so hope that like you women who've gone out and done things that for a long time were taboo, over things that were untouched, we have more and more people taking up this inspiration moving ahead. Thank you so much for being a part of this discussion. Thanks a lot.